The line at the supermarket was ordinary, just another afternoon where the aisles buzzed with chatter and the soft beeps of scanning groceries filled the air. But when the man in the tailored suit reached the register, the entire store became silent. His sleek black card was swiped once, then again, and then the screen flashed a word no one expected: declined. For a brief moment, the world seemed to stop. Shoppers behind him smirked. Whispers spread like wildfire, and the cashier threw her head back in laughter, loud and merciless. The man's eyes fell to the ground, his jaw tight, and beside him, a little girl tugged at his hand, looking up with wide, worried eyes. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody knew the fortune that followed him. And nobody knew that in this small, humiliating moment, the kindness of a child was about to change everything. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of human compassion, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Huna Stories, and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Your support helps keep these inspiring stories alive. The man was Alexander Grant, a billionaire who built his empire from steel, construction, and sheer determination. He had stood in glass towers, spoken in boardrooms filled with the most powerful men in the country, and his name was etched on skyscrapers in New York and beyond. But none of that mattered here. In this small-town grocery store, stripped of his name and wealth, he was just another man whose card had failed. It wasn't a banking error. It wasn't fraud. It was a lesson fate had prepared for him, disguised in the most humiliating way possible. For years, Alexander had hidden behind power and status, rarely stopping to notice the quiet struggles of ordinary people. And now he stood exposed, with the weight of humiliation pressing down on him. The cashier laughed again, making sure everyone around could hear her. People in line leaned forward to see the man's face, some pointing, some chuckling, enjoying the spectacle of seeing someone important fall. The girl at his side, no more than 7 years old, with braids and a worn purple shirt, looked from the groceries on the conveyor belt to the crowd behind her. She didn't see a billionaire. She saw a man crumbling under the weight of shame. And then, as if guided by something greater than herself, she did the unthinkable. With tiny, trembling hands, she reached into her pocket and pulled out 3 crumpled bills and a handful of coins. It wasn't much, the kind of change a child saves from allowance or finds under couch cushions. Slowly, she stretched out her hand toward the cashier. The store grew silent again, but this time for a different reason. Whispers stopped. Laughter died on lips. Everyone watched this little girl place her money on the counter, her voice barely above a whisper, as she told the cashier to take it. She wanted to help pay for this stranger's groceries. The men froze. Alexander Grant, the billionaire who had once written checks larger than the yearly earnings of entire families, stood speechless. His heart, hardened by years of business and arrogance, felt something he hadn't allowed in decades: humility. His eyes burned, not from anger, but from a sudden rush of tears he fought to hold back. This child, with nothing, had given him everything: dignity, compassion, and a reminder of what true wealth meant. The store, once filled with mockery, shifted in energy. The laughter that had ridiculed him turned into murmurs of shame. Some lowered their heads, embarrassed that they had mocked a man in pain, while a child had shown the courage to be kind. The cashier's grin faltered, replaced with a look of awkward guilt. And Alexander, the man who could buy anything, realized he had encountered something priceless. As the groceries were packed, Alexander bent down to the little girl's level, his voice breaking as he thanked her. She didn't understand who he was, didn't know the towers his name adorned, didn't care about his wealth. To her, he was just a man in need, and kindness demanded action. She smiled softly, not realizing that in this moment, she had just changed the course of his life. When they left the store, Alexander didn't go back to his limousine waiting outside. Instead, he walked the little girl home, curious about the world she came from. Her house was small, with paint peeling on the walls and the sagging porch. Inside, her mother worked tirelessly, folding clothes while keeping an eye on a pot simmering on the stove. Life here was simple, filled with quiet struggles and small victories. The girl's mother was surprised to see a well-dressed stranger standing in her doorway, but she welcomed him kindly, without judgment. That night, Alexander couldn't sleep. The image of the girl offering her last coins haunted him. For years, he had measured wealth in numbers and possessions, But now he understood that true wealth lay in kindness, in giving when you had little to give, in seeing humanity when others only saw weakness. The next morning, he made a decision. Weeks later, news broke across the country. Alexander Grant, the billionaire known for his ruthless business strategies, had announced a massive foundation dedicated to helping struggling families. Grocery bills were being paid anonymously across towns. Homes were being repaired. Scholarships were being handed to children who never dreamed of college. But more than the money, Alexander himself was there, walking the aisles of grocery stores, visiting homes, talking to people, listening to stories he once had ignored. And at the center of it all was a little girl in a purple shirt, the one who had given him 3 crumpled bills. She became the face of the campaign. Though Alexander made sure she and her family never wanted for anything again, he didn't parade her kindness as charity. He protected it, nurtured it, and honored it by ensuring her life was filled with opportunity, love, and dignity. Years later, when people spoke of Alexander Grant, they didn't talk about his skyscrapers or his billions. They spoke of the day his card declined, and a child's kindness made him see the world differently. That was his true legacy, written not in steel or money, but in compassion. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, subscribe to Kindness Corner, and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Your support helps keep these inspiring stories alive. For those who are looking for inspiration, a blueprint to making a difference, The Gift of Kindness is a book that dives deep into stories similar to this powerful tale, exploring the impact small acts of kindness can have on the lives of both the giver and the recipient. And so, this tale reminds us that true wealth is never measured by the balance of a bank account or the shine of a credit card. It is measured by the courage to show kindness when no one else dares, by the strength to extend a hand when others turn away, and by the ability to see hope in the most unlikely places. That little girl with nothing in her pockets but everything in her heart changed the life of a world thought it had it all. She reminded us that compassion has no price tag, and that sometimes the smallest voices teach the loudest lessons. If this story touched you, let it be more than just a tale you watched. Carry it into your life, into your family, into your everyday choices. Be the person who lifts someone when they are down, who gives even when it seems impossible, and who believes in humanity even when the world feels cold. If this story moved your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Huna Stories so that these timeless lessons continue to reach more souls. And before you go, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.